We've all been talking about this quarterback competition. I've honestly never covered one. Harbaugh never did it with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. We're going to see one this year. It's going to be interesting. I'm very curious to see how Kyle Shanahan structures it because there's a lot of potential complications. But before we get to the complications, we should explain why they have to do this, why it's totally necessary. You want to start with that?
You're asking me why it's necessary.
Yeah, why he needs to prove himself to the organization, the teammates, to everyone.
Well, because I think you're really. I mean, you're proving it to the coaches, right? The coaches want to see, can this guy actually do it? But I think there's also an element of proving it to the team, to the teammates, because you've got guys, you've re-signed all your guys. It's a veteran team. I think, aren't they the 5th oldest team or something?
Second oldest.
Well, second oldest. Okay. So it's a veteran team. I think for the most part, this team believes it's a Super Bowl contender. They certainly say they are. So, they're not just going to, you're not going to want to throw a guy out there and without the perception that he's not going to give them the best chance to win. Those guys, the coaching staff and the team has to believe, hey, Trey Lance has to give us the best opportunity to win. And in order for them to do that or to believe that, they have to see it. They're not going to just – I know these guys like Trent Williams is getting paid $20 million a year, so obviously he's going to do his job, but you need them to believe. And so the only way for them to believe is to actually see it.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of these guys signed back here under the pretense that they were going to be making a run to the Super Bowl. And Jimmy's key to that. To move off of Jimmy for someone you've never seen play before is hard because these players have played with Jimmy. They know that they win with him. I mean, you can't really explain it. Maybe they've lost a little bit of confidence in him, but they know they win with him. So cutting him or getting rid of him and bringing in Andy Dalton would be a tough sell to the locker room. And even Trey Lance, they know that Trey Lance is the future. But for them to cut Jimmy right now, if they would, or earlier this offseason, if they traded him on draft night, I think it'd been tough for this veteran team to get behind Trey Lance without seeing him the way that, the Buffalo Bills made Josh Allen the starter right away. Like, who cares? That team sucked. They were young, first year of a coach, all that.
You don't want to have that. You don't want to have a loss and then have the team. Your roster think, oh, well, if Jimmy was in there, we could have won that game. They have to believe wholeheartedly that Trey Lance gives us the best chance to win. And whether or not he might make some mistakes, but if they believe that his playmaking ability will outweigh some of the mistakes he's going to make, then that's what you're looking for. I think Kyle even talked about it a little. I think he mentioned it before. He didn't only say the coaching staff will know. I think he means like the whole team will know when Trey Lance has it. And the best way to see that is obviously practice and then the preseason, like against live fire.
Not just the players, but front office, ownership. Because it seems like front office and ownership like Jimmy more than the coaching staff does. Jimmy's marketable. He's professional. You don't have to worry about him saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. People like him. He wins. He gives the organization credibility that it didn't have when Brian Hoyer was the quarterback. I could see them saying, Kyle, we can always go to Trey Lance. Let's not just run Jimmy Garoppolo off too soon before Trey has proven it to everyone. So This is why this quarterback competition is interesting. Now, it is interesting, though, that they're having a competition. I mean, this is theoretically a job Jimmy Garoppolo can lose in practice, which is pretty heady if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember when there was an actual quarterback competition around the Niners, an actual competition. Like there's been backup competitions, but not the
right. Remember, it never happened with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. That first year, there was no spring training, OTAs, minicamp. So Kaepernick was learning the offense in training camp, and it was taking him some time. So he didn't really have an opportunity to compete the way that Lance does now as a rookie. And then second year, Alex Smith was coming off a 13-3 season, which ended in the NFC Championship game, and he didn't lose that game. So his job wasn't up for grabs. He only lost it because he got hurt. So maybe it's interesting that you know, they're not doing that for Jimmy Garoppolo. He has to fight for his job in practice. He has to outplay Trey Lance in practice. Could be hard.
It'll be a good litmus test as well for Trey Lance for off the field in terms of how to deal with can he deal with the press, because the Niners quarterback competition is going to be a big deal even on a national level. I mean,
it's going to be scrutinized daily. It's going to be like a soap opera,
right? And he's going to get asked all the time about it. So will Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy, we can see Jimmy can handle the media. He's been able to do it. He's pretty good at that stuff. But it's going to be interesting to see, can Trey Lance handle that, and then also handling that and then balancing it with your play. Are you going to get are you going to get flustered, with all these questions? Are you going to start to get upset maybe and start treating people like Colin Kaepernick? Or are you going to keep your cool, be professional, and keep it moving along, and go out there and play your best in practice and answer the same question every day?
So if you're wondering why the Niners haven't gotten rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, or why they may wait until the very end of the offseason to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, this is the reason. There's a lot of reasons to say that they can't just hand this team to Trey Lance. Like the Jets can hand their team to Zach Wilson. That's a young team with a first-year coach that has no expectations this year. But this team has a ton of expectations, whether they're realistic or not. So Trey Lance has to prove it. That's the context of this conversation.